Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Howard H. Prager. Howard is an author, speaker, and executive coach. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Howard H. Prager. Howard, welcome.
Thank you, Mohammed. Such a pleasure to be here with you today.
Likewise, let's get started.
Great.
Where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Oh, that's a great question. So let me give you some really quick background. I was born in Brooklyn, New York, grew up in Evanston, Illinois, a Chicago suburb. I went to Northwestern University studying social psychology, and then on to the University of Michigan with a degree in business and an MBA and a concentration in organizational behavior. So always interested in people and organizations and how they work. I've worked in corporate for a dozen years for two very large organizations. I worked in executive education at the University of Notre Dame and Lake Forest Graduate School of Management for 18 years. And two times I've had my own business, once about 20 years ago, and then I have had it for the last 8 years right now, called Advanced Learning Group, where I focus on consulting around leadership, executive coaching, speaking, and writing. Throughout my career, I've been an active member and leader in the Association for Talent Development, the largest training and development organization in the world. I've been active in Scouts. So if your familiar listeners are familiar with Scouts, I've been a leader and stay active in that. I'm a tuba player, as you see behind me, a dancer, and a writer. 5 years ago, I became a member of number one executive coach in the world, Marshall Goldsmith's MG100 group. And that has just been a delight to meet so many and collaborate with so many really bright and caring and giving people. And that inspired me to write a book that expressed my philosophy about leadership in life, make someone's day, because it's so important to become a memorable leader. And finally, just the personal stuff. I'm married. I have 5 grown children between us, a puppy, and live in the Chicago area.
Wonderful. So, based on your experience, what are the top three reasons why do people fail?
So I think, one of the reasons is when we say never. I'm never going to do this, or I'm not going to do that. And we've got to get never out of our language. I never thought I wanted to teach. That's what I said to myself growing up. And now teaching is a big part of my life and career. So never say never. Secondly, don't rest on your laurels. You have some excellent books out there. I've got my book out there. Um, so don't stop learning, don't stop growing, keep our edge. And finally, I love this saying, we all need to grow until we go. So continue that learning and development. Don't avoid not learning. Avoid saying, I know everything that there is, but continue to learn and grow, because that's how you're going to get the most out of life and be able to give back the most.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
Yeah, yeah. So first, I thought about and thinking about this question uh, right now. I think about the focus that I had early in my career on moving up. That you're not a success unless you move up the ladder to from entry level to a supervisor and manager and a senior manager and officer and executive. And I realized that that's not the only way. And so, even though I did not get to be the chief learning officer, which is what I perhaps would have set my early career goals on, I think I've been very successful and have enjoyed being a contributor in the various roles I've had to play. The other thing is not having a plan B and not knowing when to cut bait with your plan A. Unfortunately, I remember a couple specific situations where I just kept pushing ahead, going further and further to keep moving in the same direction when it really warranted moving in another direction. So, how did I recover from it? Um, Actually, the client cut bait before we could, and we refunded their money because we only want clients that are happy. And if they're not happy, we don't want them to pay for an experience that they don't feel good about. So I feel that's the best thing to do with a failure. Admit it, uh, uh, take your lumps and move on. But to avoid that, always have a plan B you can turn to.
Based on your experience, what are your top three success secrets that others can model from?
Yes. So, number one is to work with or for people you admire and can learn from. Um, it's the main reason people leave jobs. They don't leave jobs because they don't necessarily like it. They don't leave jobs because of the company. They leave jobs because of their bosses. So, work with or for people you admire or can learn from, and if not, change where you're working or leave that company and go to another company. Secondly, never burn bridges. The people we meet along the track of life are so important to us, and we think that, well, I'm gone, I can say all these things about them or post things. Don't do it. Don't do it, because you never know when you're going to go back to an old boss or colleague and ask them for a reference, a recommendation, a favor. So don't burn bridges. Thirdly, always extend a hand to help others. You never know when it can come back. A lot of times we feel in life like life's transactional. That, well, if I do something for you, you're going to do something for me. And that isn't the way life is. I'm going to do something for you, Mohammed, because I've gotten to know you and like you. And if you do something for me, that's great. And if you don't do something for me, that's great, because someone else will. And lastly, another secret for success, I'll give you a bonus. I like giving people bonuses, is speak up, don't be bashful. So many times we kind of sit back and we're not speaking our mind. And unfortunately, that happened in a few times. I think about the space shuttle disasters and people not speaking up, not saying there's something wrong. So be sure to speak up in your career. That's going to help you, and it's going to help others see a side of you that's so important to see.
What motivates you within?
You know, my book is all about that. It's make someone's day. And what motivates me is to be able to make others' days. I really love the opportunity to go ahead and do things for others that's going to be so important at the right time in the right way that they say to me, "You made my day." I'll give you a very quick example story. How
Can
did I
can
come
we
up?
can we see your book?
Yes, absolutely. It's right here. This
Make
is the
someone's
book.
day.
Thank you. And it's becoming a memorable leader in work and life. So, what happened was I was commuting downtown Chicago by train, and I was at this train station early one morning, and a woman came up to me with a clipboard saying, "Would you sign this petition?" So I said, "What's it for?" She said, "To get somebody on the ballot for election." So I signed it. I was the first person to sign it at the top. And I said, "Who's this for?" And she mentioned the name. I said, "I'm not sure what party they're in, but I've heard of them. I know they've been in office. They'll be good to have them back." So I signed it and gave it back to her. And then she looked at me after I did that and she said, "Oh my gosh, you made my day." When she said that, I signed a petition, Mohammed. That's how simple it could be. It was what she needed. I don't know if she had asked people before me, if people said no. This was the first time she was gathering signatures on a petition. But what I did was I just signed the petition, and I felt when she said, "Oh my gosh, you made my day," it reflected back at me. My mirror neurons shot off, and I got what I call a boomerang effect. I felt good as well. And so that led me to think about what I could write about and how is this happening and how can I help other people learn this? And that's what I did. So that motivates me is to be able to do things that make someone's day every day.
What is your company's motto?
My company's model, well, you gotta right. Let's make someone's day. Let's all make someone's day. That's what I believe in, and that's what I live by.
Who is your ideal client?
Gosh, my ideal client is one that really wants to promote a sense of growth and development in all their people. Because if you want to inspire people to higher productivity, if you want to motivate them, if you want to excite them, then make someone's day can do all of that. You know, right now in these times, Mohammed, so many companies are dealing with the great resignation. People are leaving them for various reasons. And one thing that you can do if you establish a culture of make someone's day in your organization, people are going to want to stay there. If you do things that make their day, they're going to say, how can I leave here? Now, if someone's offering a lot more money, how can I not leave, right? But if all things are equal, and I just spoke to someone last night who is leaving her job for another job. And why is Amy doing this? It's not for the money. The money's actually, she said, a little bit less. But she said it's because of the way they treat me, the way they care about me. She said they even asked, what type of food do I like? So when we have our meetings, they can send out for food and I can get something that I like. That's amazing, right? What a simple thing to ask. So, my ideal client is an organization that wants to see that happen for them.
How do you find your ideal client?
You know, it's word of mouth, really. I speak to a lot of groups and I speak on a lot of podcasts. That's why I'm so honored to be on your podcast. And hopefully, there's a listener out there that says, hey, I'd like to bring Howard in. I'd like to learn more about the book and see how he can help our managers become better managers, memorable managers. I want to see how our people can become more inspired and productive. That's how I find my best clients. They hear me and they say, we want to work with Howard to do the thing that he does best, and that's developing memorable leaders.
How do you engage your ideal client?
I like working collaboratively. I really do. I've won 8 awards for leadership development from organizations such as the European Foundation for Management Development and the Association for Talent Development. And all these awards I haven't won by myself, I've won with my client. And so we both get the award. And that's what I like to do. I like to work with them. So not only do we meet their business need, but if they have a personal need to win an award, to write an article, to make a presentation, I love working with them to enable that to happen.
What are your well defined products or services?
So thank you for asking that question. Leadership consulting is number one, and that includes consulting around make someone's day and doing workshops around this. I created a very simple model for people to learn. I call it the VIP model because who doesn't want to feel like a VIP and treated like a VIP? And that's what happens when you make someone's day. So that's one product. I'm also an executive coach. I'm certified in Marshall Goldsmith stakeholder centered coaching, and I love to use that. And finally, I'm a teacher and a writer, and I work with various organizations, including ANAB, which is the US counterpart to the ISO standards, and are the representative there. I work with the Human Capital Institute and others. And so those are some of the products and services that I offer.
Why someone should buy from you? USP.
Yes. Oh boy. Why should they buy from me? Because I'm going to work in their best interest. I'm going to work with them to understand what are their needs, what's the root cause of their needs. You know, engineers like to do this root cause analysis. Well, and good Trainers and consultants like to do that too. We like to find out not only what is the issue that you're having, but why are you having that issue? And so I'll work with you to be able to assess, analyze, and understand what that issue is so that we put in and implement a solution. It's something that's going to work for you and be successful.
How do you crush your competition?
I think it's always better to collaborate than compete. So I don't want to crush my competition. I want to work with them. There's no reason why you can't work with more than one consultant. So what I believe is that my space about inspiring leadership, about memorable motivation, about getting leaders who are successful. Um, I think I stand out in that area, and I provide the personal service that maybe a larger organization does. I believe that there's no such thing as one size fits all. So there's some great other competitors out there that want to sell you their canned program. And not that it's not good, not that it's not validated, but I don't think one size fits all. You don't go into a store and when you buy one size fits all clothes, it doesn't necessarily fit you. It's the same thing with learning, with programs, with education, and with consulting.
How do you deliver a five-star client experience?
I work to ensure that the goals that they have, that the objectives that they have are met, and then I go beyond that because I believe in helping them grow as well as helping their leaders and organizations grow.
How do you convert your clients into brand ambassadors?
I believe a satisfied client, one that has results that they can see, are the best ones to be able to represent me to others. And for the book, for Make Someone's Day, I've got over 30 endorsements from leaders from around the world. From who doesn't like chocolate, right? The CEO of Lindt Chocolate in Italy endorsed the book. Matter of fact, his quote is on the cover. Just by reading the title, I was inspired to make someone's day a few times that same day. And I have many other leaders who have endorsed the book as well. They're all my brand ambassadors.
How do you handle rejections?
That's a hard part of life, right? We all get rejections. So what I do is I try to find out why did it happen? What did I do wrong? What can I do differently? I just reached out. I spent a year trying to reach a client that was it November? Yeah, it was a year ago that they were going to go ahead and purchase a program with me and another organization that I work with. And then we never heard from them all year. And we thought, is it the pandemic? Is it this or that? Did we do something wrong? And that was my biggest question was, what could I do better? And then the bottom line was the budget never got passed. There's nothing we could have done better. They love the program. When they have budget, they're going to bring it in. And so my desire is what did I do? How can I grow and learn from this experience? What might I do differently next time? Rejections are learning experiences.
How do you handle an angry client?
First step is, of course, trying to find out to calm them down, right? Because if they're angry, something's really upsetting them. So the first thing I want to do is calm them down and say, let me understand what's going on. Let me understand why you're upset. Let's figure out what we can do about it. So trying to make things whole. And I'm not sure whatever the client needs. So if they need a refund and to end our work together, I'll do that. But more than likely, I've only had to do that once in my career. More than likely, I understand what they're looking for. And actually, I came up with a model. This is what you do when you're talking to a learning consultant is we constantly keep models. So I say that you need to start off in a boat together and you're rowing the boat. And then you want to get to a level where you and the client are working together and the client trusts you to row it in the right direction. And finally, the highest level is where you both take turns rowing because you're constantly collaborating. I call that the levels of customer relationship. And we want to get to the highest level possible where we're working collaboratively and we're working together.
Great. We are about to move into lightning round. That means quick question and a quick answer. Are you ready?
Okay, I am ready.
What are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful for my family, for learning and being able to give back. There's no greater joy.
How do you start your day?
I start my day with thinking and planning for what the day will bring. I meditate a little bit and then go ahead and start. I try to exercise early in the day because I discovered if I don't, it's too easy to get pushed back. So I meditate, visualize what I need to do, and if I have time, I exercise first thing.
How young are you?
I am 65. I'm proud to say. And it's funny. Early in my career, I thought, oh my gosh, not only is 65 ancient, but I'd be retired on a beach somewhere. Well, instead, I am here talking to you and absolutely loving all that I'm working on. So I'm
Howard, you are not 65. You are 18 years old with 47 years experience.
exactly, Mohammed. I love that. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
What you want to do when you grow up?
So early on, I was really interested in science. And so I thought about, gee, I'd really like to be an astronaut. I grew up in the 60s and astronauts were the big thing. And then I said, well, maybe I can be an astronomer or maybe I can be a marine biologist because those were what excited me. People discovering Jacques Cousteau was a hero of mine. I got to hear his son speak at a conference and so many others. And I realized I want to explore and discover and come up with some answers. So when I grew up, that's what I thought I wanted to be when I was young. As I got to college and started learning more about psychology and organizational behavior, I said, I still want to do that exploration and discover things that will help mankind. But I guess instead of studying and becoming a research scientist, making great discoveries, I'm trying now to do great work to help people and teams.
What is your plan to achieve your goal?
So my plan is to continue to speak and talk about make someone's day, to be able to be out there and help others learn the lessons I have learned through my life and career.
How will you feel in case you don't achieve your goal?
You know, I think, Mohammed, I've already achieved it. I've already got the book published. I've already got a few thousand people who have bought it. I get the pleasure and privilege of being on podcasts such as yours, where I'm able to talk about it, and in radio interviews and TV interviews. So, as long as I can keep doing that, I believe I'm achieving my goal. My desire, I'd love everyone to buy this book. But if they don't and say, I'm leaving here, and after listening to Howard Muhammad speak, I want to go make someone's day today. To me, that would be achieving a wonderful goal, is to have the world kinder and caring and supportive of one another.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
You know, so much often when that happens, we try to work harder. And it's like, well, I didn't work hard enough. I didn't put more hours. I'm going to sleep less. I'm going to talk less. I'm just going to sit at my desk and I'm going to work away. And that's not the way to overcome a challenge. The way to overcome a challenge is to understand where the challenge is coming from, um, what you can do, and maybe vary your perspective. Maybe when life throws you a challenge, it's not you personally, but it's you in your head and being able to change perspective. So I try to look at it and see what is the challenge really and what's it asking me to do and how can I open up myself to be able to do that. That's my theme for the year. I picked a word that I want to have and focus on this year. And this year it's openness. So I want to make sure I'm open.
What is the advice you will give to younger yourself?
Oh, that's great. You know, Marshall Goldsmith always asks that question. He said, "What advice would you give to your younger self?" And I guess my advice would be um, keep persevering. You're on the right track. Don't wait. I think if my younger self would have realized that make someone's day is a philosophy of mine, I would have written this 20 years ago and not waited to write it now. However, I do think that the Times, it's a great book to release now. Um, but my younger self, I'd say just keep persevering. Don't forget the people who help you along the way, and don't wait to make the difference that you want to make.
Once you have a revenue generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
Oh my gosh. You must know my wife. I love my wife. She's an accountant and always comes down with the practicality of it. So I feel like if I convince my wife that this is a good idea, then I've really done a great job of really explaining the idea. What happens more often than not is she's going to come back to me and says, "Really? Do you really think that's going to work?" And her skepticism helps me to work out the kinks in the ideas or shift from that idea to another idea.
Who is your living mentor and what's the impact?
My living mentor is Marshall Goldsmith. And the impact is continuing learning growth and being able to gain the wisdom that he has. He has sold millions of books, he has millions of followers, he's worked with 90% of the CEOs in the world. So he's got great experience, and he follows a Buddhist type philosophy. And so he is absolutely my living mentor, and his impact um, actually, it's his impact that got me to write the book.
Why being impactful is important to you?
Because I feel like we're all here on this planet for a reason, and that is to make a difference in our own way. And I feel that the way I can make the most difference and impact is by being able to help people learn um, techniques of gratitude, not kindness, and caring, and how that can help bridge divides in life. That's why it's important to me. I want to leave a legacy, a living legacy for others to be able to follow and do.
Are you open to the idea taking one question from viewers?
Sure.
Okay, here is the question I just received. Do you believe in making small goals or big ones?
Oh, that's a great question. Thank you, Sonia. I appreciate that. So, I believe in making big goals because we need to have vision that excites us. In order to get there, we need to have small steps and goals and celebrate those along the way. Sonia, it took me 5 years to write this book. And I thought, okay, that's the hard part. Well, it then took me 6 months to find the right publisher. And once again, I said, okay, that's done. That's over. And then the publisher said, we need you to edit it more and come up with this and come up with that. And I thought, okay. So I realized that the large goal was coming up with the idea, writing the book, and getting it out there. But it's those small goals I celebrated along the way each time they happen. And that's not just true with the book, it's about many of the things I do in life. It's come up with the big goals and celebrate the small steps along the way.
Wonderful. What do you want to be remembered for?
That's an awesome question. Thank you for asking me that, Mohammed. I like to be remembered as someone who made a difference for others in the world. If someone would say to me in my eulogy that Howard not only cared about others, but he lived it and he made a difference and impacted people he didn't even know, my heart would feel great. I guess my heart wouldn't be beating then, but I would feel great that I'll have left a legacy for others to follow.
How can we support you?
Oh, that would be great. First of all, you can find me at howardhprager.com. HOWARD, is in Peter, RAGER.com. That's my website. So go to it. Please sign up. You can get a free chapter of the book there. You could get a free tracking sheet. Share with me your stories. Buy the book. It's available at all online bookstores. Um, um, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart, and leave a comment. Reach out and share your stories. Everyone's got a make someone's day story. Someone where someone said to you, "You made my day." Share your stories with me. I'd love to hear them. And I know others would as well.
We are about to wrap up. I like to have a few words about your today's guest experience on the show. Here is my question. What would you say about your today's guest experience on the show?
So I'm going to say, Mohammed, that you asked thoughtful, insightful questions. And I love the opportunity to answer them and to share that with others who are interested in growing. It was a great opportunity to be with you, to meet you, and to talk with you today.
What would you say as the final word?
My final word is, Mohammed, you made my day today. Don't forget to go out there and make others' days, because it's going to come back to you. Thank you for making my day and bringing me to your listeners.
Thank you so much, Howard, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.